you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Bif Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On The Ball here at Win FM 98.9 with yours truly, Troy Bif Mills. And we're actually squeezing in some time with our special guest, one of our special guests tonight, Mr. Carlisle Powell, the president of the Nevis Cricket Association. And we should have him online. Good evening, Carlisle. How are you, sir?
I am getting better and better. How are you tonight?
I'm blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks, sir. Thank you for taking time out for your extremely busy schedule to be with us here on the ball. And yes, I know you could only spare a few minutes, so I had to forego the introduction and get straight to you so you could get back to your business you have tonight. Nevis, you've been playing a lot of cricket over there in Nevis, and you're currently undergoing a 10-10 competition. Could you tell us a little about that, please?
Definitely. The 10-10, we have partial sponsorship from the National Bank, our own National Bank, and the rest of the weight is carried by the Nevis Cricket Association. Our management, I have to say, first of all, I have a management team working with. They work extremely well, Troy. The amount of work which is undertaken by these 11 members, I am very, very happy. I've been around Nevis cricket since 1986. This is 39 years. And I can tell you this is the best management team that I've worked with. They do a lot of work. So to the 10-10, the 10-10 for us is a special tournament because it is the only competition where we have an open competition. We have 4 teams in Division 1. We have 4 teams in Division 2. But all the teams play against each other. I can tell you that this year, one Division 2 team has beaten a Division 1 team. When we started this competition, we had a bonus point. Division 2 team beat a Division 1 team. And at the end of the competition, the open competition, each team ended up with 7 games. But then we split them back into divisions for the playoffs. And all 4 teams go to the playoff in each division. And then we come to the grand finals. The Division 1 semifinals were last week. And Highlights defeated All Stars. And Brownhill defeated Empire. And so our finals will be played this Sunday. And that will see the Highlights coming up against Brownhill. Now, On Saturday, we're going to have our Division 2 playoffs. Youths of Nevis will play New Vision, and that starts at noon, and at 3 p.m. Easterns will play Masters. The finals in Division 2 will be played at noon on Sunday, and the finals for Division 1 will be played at 3 p.m. on Sunday. And Troy, one of the things that we like to do, you finish the finals, we like to, we make every effort to make sure that the teams get their monies at the end of the finals so that nobody have to come hunting for us to wonder when their monies will be played. Another special rule that we have in Nevis, Troy, that might interest some of your listeners, is that in this 10-10 competition, and in all our competitions really, if you are 17 years of age and younger, you can play for any team. We request that teams register 25 players at the start of the season. But if you are 17 and younger, you do not have to register. If you are 55 and older, you do not have to register. You can play for any team because we have noted that our youngsters are not playing as much cricket. They don't play street cricket. You don't see pick-up cricket that we used to have in the old days. And so this is our way of allowing them to play. And so on a Saturday, for example, a youngster who meets the criteria, or even the Masters people, the older ones, they can end up playing. We have 3 games on a Saturday, 3 on a Sunday. They can end up playing for 3 different teams on Saturday and 3 teams on Sunday. So on a weekend, a youngster can get 6 games. The same thing with the Masters. And we note that that has helped our youngsters to develop a little bit. This competition, including the finals, will see 34 games being played. It finishes on the 16th, which is Sunday, with our grand finals. And then the weekend after that, the 22nd and the 23rd, we will have our best 17 and under, best 24 players come together where we will be hosting them in a 2-day competition. Because 10-10 cricket does not really allow the youngsters to show what they have. They only have to bowl 2 overs if they get a bowl, maximum of 2 overs. And then in 10 overs, you have to do quite a bit of swiping. And so the association decided, listen, no. While we have had 2 sets of training going on, one at ETW with Stuart Williams, one at VOJN with Wendell Macy Wallace and Derek Parry and others helping, we decided we want to see our youngsters and give them the opportunity to show what they have. And so the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd, we're going to have that 2-day game where we will focus on the youngsters, shut down all the rest cricket, focus on the youngsters, support them, see what they have, and then after that, we see how we can best help to train the under-15s for the under-15 competition, which is coming up shortly. There is going to be a camp, I understand, and then the competition. And the under-17s and under-19s will also be having their competition. So this is our way of trying to prepare them, Troy. Anything else that you want to know about our 10-10 IQ, you can just ask me. All the matches are available online. You can go on and see the results. But not only that, on YouTube, Curtis Morton normally puts some highlights of some of the games. So that is what we are doing with respect to the 10-10.
I like the idea, Carlisle, and I congratulate you and your executive for that. You mentioned 2 things that I like. I really like the fact that the under 17 players, they can basically show up, walk with their whites, and if for whatever reason some team they only have 10 or 9, the 1 or 2 youngsters on the 17 players can actually just play with them, and it's not an issue.
Absolutely. It's colored clothing. These guys just say, hey, listen, I'm available. And whichever team is short, they listen, we need 2 or 3 of you. And they just go and play.
And it's a similar thing with the Masters as well, to encourage the older folks to come around and do something, because some of the youngsters they may not have heard about them. So it's a good thing they could come and, who knows, see a thing or two, learn a thing or two.
Correct. And these guys are able to look back and tell people, hey, I played with Stuart Williams.
Indeed.
They don't have to give details and say, well, I played with him when he was in his... I played with Stuart Williams.
Scoring his maiden first-class century for the West Indies Academy in the recent round gone. How is the vibe in Nevis about that?
People are happy. Listen, Carlon grew up in Nevis. He lives in Nevis with his family. And Carlon has been, if you talk to people about Carlon, they would tell you, listen, Carlon is one of those persons who showed promise from early, not just as a cricketer. People know him for cricket now, but Carlon was a pretty good inter-primary athlete as well, you know. And he has been playing his cricket. I don't think a lot of people know that he bowls as well. That keeps wicket. I looked at the 100, and I saw a certain amount of maturity where Carlon has lifted his game from seasons past. And I was very, very pleased that the kind of patience that he displayed, that his shot selection has progressively gotten better. And it says a lot, not just for him, but for his family. His father played under 19 cricket under my watch and played for Leeward's first-class cricket under my watch. He's now a regional umpire. And his mom has been a tower of support. She has traveled the world to watch her son play cricket. And so I'm sure that Sonia and Carl and the whole of Nevis would be happy, not just for the 100, but that he made that 100 against Barbados in Barbados. You know, it speaks highly of the young man. We're happy for Carl.
Now, shifting off to the regional 40, the Leeward Islands, they are top of the table, jumping from number 4 to number 1, albeit by 0.2 of a point. But the competition, we've seen quite a few hundreds, 50s, and six wickets being taken. And it's Yannick Correa, he took 8 wickets, I think it was. And we're yet to see a century from the Leeward Islands. How much pressure you think the Leeward Island players are, Casey Curtis and the Michael Louis? Yes, it's only their second tournament, but we saw Brathwaite coming back and making a double century. So how much pressure do you think are our Leeward's players under in terms of keeping their spots in the West Indies?
Not a lot. Listen, I traveled with the Leewards for 4 seasons as the manager. And if I were in the team setting now, I would be trying my hardest to get the players to relax. Not to focus on somebody has made 100 and so on. Listen, just relax, enjoy your cricket, bat. If you are batting by the hour, if you are batting by sessions, if you're at the crease, you're going to get runs. I've been following the games and looking because I don't like people to tell me how people got out. And we have been gifting away our wickets to a certain extent. I mean, all we have to do is go out there and bat. And the Leeward, you have to understand that we have risen to the top of the table with 2 wins, but our top batsman from last season has not featured yet. So it has to be that the batting, whereas we have not been getting hundreds, that we have been getting good partnerships in and around the middle and the lower end of the batting lineup, a couple of fairly good starts. It means that the guys are contributing all around. And so I wouldn't be too worried about 100. We have still a lot of time to go in the season. And these are professional people. I mean, nobody has to tell Louis and Casey Carty that they have to get some. But you can't, if I were around the team, I would tell them, listen, do not be putting any pressure on yourselves. Go out there, enjoy the game. You know how to bat. You don't make a West Indies team without knowing how to bat. So just relax. Let the ball come to you. Play it from close to your body and have some fun. That's it.
sounds like very good advice to me. Do you expect any changes? Normally, it is said that you don't change a winning team, but do you see any changes that may happen?
Well, I tell you something. I was a little bit surprised with the team for the last game. Because if you had asked me if I would drop Penny Feather completely out of the side, I would have said, no, I don't think so. Because I thought that he bowled fairly well in the first game. And he has some batting ability as well. So that one surprised me. I'm a little bit worried in the top four. So surprised if there is a change. Because remember that for the last game, the last inning, Forbes made a half century and then had to sit down on the bench. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a change there, and that he might be back in the mix-up. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. But the team has done reasonably well so far.
Carlisle, I know you said you had to be out of here, but I thank you for being with us for the few minutes, a staple feature. Quickly, West Indies, I don't know if you could spend 30 seconds on West Indies and the meeting they had recently and the new policy changes they are thinking about. What are your thoughts on those?
Well, not just thinking about. My understanding is that the governance matter has been accepted.
Correct.
I should say to you that I served on the governance committee for West Indies Cricket Board. And the very same discussions that were had have been had for an extended period of time. One of the things that puzzled me a little bit is that one of the territories was arguing for a rotational type leadership, where instead of elections, you would rotate the presidency. And even though there was persuasive argument for keeping the current format, they still argued that way. What surprised me is that even though we spent an extensive amount of time looking at the whole governance thing that was sent to us, and even though you heard from all of the territories, we had made some grounds, and whereas one territory had objected to every single one of the recommendations, we got them to come around to a large extent. I was shocked and surprised when two territories decided not to attend the first meeting and then voted against. Well, let's say they didn't attend, but they attended this last meeting, and the matter passed. I'm not too sure what has changed between then and now. But surely, in a modern day and age like us, when in football they are going for 4-year terms, to ask in cricket that they have 3-year terms, I don't think that is a big ask. But not only that, it is not that you're asking for 3-year terms and the grandfather in the current leadership. We're saying 3-year terms, but it starts from the next election, which is in March. So the current leadership, if they want to contest, will have to go up election coming up in March, and then whoever are elected will serve for 3 years, but cannot serve for any more than a specific number of years. I see that as being reasonable, Troy, in light of the fact that in football they're doing 4-year terms.
Yes, indeed. Once ago, these terms, especially at national levels, used to be 1 year, but especially when when a committee is in place for quite some time, you spend a year trying to get your foot wet and trying to get records and get them in order. So after that year, it's gone. It was then moved in some instances to 2 years. And I like the idea about 4 years, because in 4 years, you should get at least some of what you promised to get done. You should be able to get that done. And if you can't, that should be problematic.
Definitely.
Carlisle, thank you very much for being with us on the ball tonight. You're no stranger, and we look forward to having you. Congratulations to you and your committee in Nevis. You've spoken wonderfully about them, and that's really something tremendous. And I thank you. Wish you all the best in the competition. I know SL Horsfords, they came on board and renewed their sponsorship with High Empire Cricket Club in the terms of donations. I like the idea, and where the corporate community could get involved. And I think our governments, the federal government and the NIA government, need to look at a structure like Trinidad, where you put sponsorship into football, steel band, cricket, whatever, the arts, table tennis, and you get some benefits when it comes to your taxes at the back end of the year. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. This is one way of getting them involved and making sure that we continue to keep our young people together. There is no more joy than I can get when I see that we have 6 teams competing on a Saturday, 6 on a Sunday. You know how many young people you keep out of trouble? By having them on the field playing cricket and associated with people. Cricket is a discipline. And so I am quite happy that Hosford are again with the Empire Cricket Club. And I wish that there are more corporate sponsors out there who would sponsor teams and players and so on, and the national team. I mean, our sponsors are many. We've had good sponsorship over the years that has helped us to continue the cricket. National Bank, I did mention earlier. Bank of Nevis, mentioned earlier as well. Today we met with a sponsor. And what is so happy for me is that we didn't know about the sponsor. He came to us and said, listen, come, let's start some cricket. And so when we do our 2020 competition, which is scheduled to start on the 1st of next month, that sponsor will be taking up some of the load from that competition in terms of the trophies, in terms of some of the cash incentives and so on. So we're happy for that because in Nevis, we intend to play cricket about 10 months of the year. We just take off a couple of months to rejuvenate, reset and so on, but we want to be playing cricket, our 3 different competitions, 10 months of the year.
I like that idea, Carlisle, and congrats again on your initiatives and best wishes, and thank you for being with us on the ball here at Win FM 98.9.
My pleasure, Troy. All the best to you and the rest of the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
We just had with us Mr. Carlisle Powell, president of the president of the Nevis Cricket Association, and they're winding down into at the end of the 10-10 league, which a very good idea. So we say congratulations to them, and especially the youngsters. And I like the fact that they have a mix where the under 17 players could just come and show up and play. And here in St. Kitts and Nevis, at 40 over competition is taking place. There have been 2 rounds of matches so far, and what I really liked, Jazara Claxton, she was actually in the Sandy Point team that played on Sunday, and that will help to keep her sharp because the West Indies tournament T20 and the 50 overs, they are going to be held here in perhaps another week and a half, 2 weeks later down this month, and obviously Jazaria and Elia, I expect them to be, especially Elia, to be part of the Leeward Islands team. So congratulations. But stick and stay, don't go away. We're going to take a short break and we will be right back. We will be right back with you.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Here on the ball, we thank you very much, and we are trying to get our next guest. Contacting we will be arranged at the moment. We're privileged to have him on board. So just give us 1 second, and don't go away. We will be right back with you. Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, we seem to have missed that guest, but we're having another guest. We're having the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association. They are going to be with us, and we'll let you know when they're here. But we are continuing with the news, and hey, oh, forgive me. We didn't do any salutation. As soon as we... As soon... And
we didn't get to do our regular introduction because our very first caller, he actually put his engagement from 7 o'clock on pause for us to accommodate us. So we had to get straight into it. But hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to you wherever you are in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Leeward Islands, the OECS, the Caribbean, the world. Hey, even if you're out of space and you're hearing us here at WinFM 98.9, we say thank you for tuning in. And we've got a program here tonight. Oh boy, all kind of things happening. But we say happy birthday to those of you celebrating birthdays today. Happy anniversaries. And congratulations to you if you won something today or you've won something recently. And to those who are actually going through a period of bereavement, we say condolences to you. And we're asking you to be strong and we're praying for you. And just focus on the many positive moments you would have shared with your deceased. And those moments, no doubt, you will cherish for forever. And of course, we're inviting you to come on board and partner with us, sponsor us here On The Ball at WinFM 98.9. You could give our marketing department a call, 466-9586, or you can give me a call, Troy Bif Mills, 668-2055, or even send me a WhatsApp. We'll greatly, tremendously appreciate that. And the sponsorship, we could design any package you need, whether it's for the first Tuesday of every month, the entire month, the first hour of every program, every other, whatever you are, our marketing department will be able to make it out with you. And for those of you who may not have realized, I now have the pleasure and the privilege of being when I say full-time, not full-time per se, but the sportscaster for WinFM 98.9. And when I said full-time, it was in the context of I am presenting the sports news daily, every evening as part of the 6 p.m. major news. And sports will come on anytime between 7:25, between 7:25-40. It depends on the length of the news. And I rebroadcast it in some instances, most instances, the morning. So I'm now doing the news, sports news here at WinFM 98.9, in addition to On The Ball every Tuesday night. And we are soliciting your support. And on the evening news, which will be rebroadcast tomorrow morning, God's Spear, we would have brought a little clip about the goal that St. Kitts and Nevis would have scored in the Under-17 champion CONCACAF Under-17 League. The team came up against Cuba, and Cuba is ranked number 10. We're ranked number 28. We scored first in the 43rd minute. However, Cuba came back and defeated St. Kitts and Nevis 3-1. The next game is against the United States, the number 2 ranked team. And boy, you can't get away from it. Any zone, you're going to find the toughies. Mexico, the number 1 ranked team, there in another zone with somebody, etc. So you no matter where you run, you can't hide. Canada is the number 3, Honduras number 4, Panama 5, Costa Rica 6, Haiti, the number 1 Caribbean team, they ranked at 7, Jamaican 8, El Salvador 9, Cuba ranked the number 3, 10, Guatemala 11, Puerto Rico, they ranked 12. That's pretty high, in my view. Trinidad and Tobago 13, Nicaragua 14, Dominican Republic 15, Guadeloupe 16, Bermuda 17, Curacao 18, Bonaire 19, Aruba 20. That's the top 20 on the 17 men's team. And our ladies just competed as well, didn't do too well. Quite frankly, whether we like it or not, these teams, the Central American teams, the big 4, especially Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica, along with the US, Canada, they're in a class by themselves when it comes to us. They have all kind of resources that we don't have. They have the human resources, they have the financial resources, they have the facility resources, and their players, they operate at a different level than our players here. Plus, some of them are playing professional football. Our guys, even our national team, they are all playing. We're playing amateur football here, And even on the 17 11, some of them are, like I said, already playing for senior teams, big teams, first division, second division, top tier in their countries. And we'll get there one of these days. My fear is when we get to that level, who at that level now will move to another level. And we expect the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association to be on the program a little later. But while we're at it, the West Indies Regional 40 competition, that continues tomorrow, God Spear, the 12th of February, and it is going down until Saturday 15th. And after the first round, things have really changed up a bit. West Indies Academy, they are in 8th. They have 4 points. Windward Island Volcanoes, 7th with 5.6. Combined campuses and colleges, they are in the 6th position with 7.2 points. Barbados Pride, 5th with 28.6 points. Jamaica 4th with 29.4. Trinidad and Tobago, they were in 2nd. They've dropped down to 3rd. They are 44.4. Guyana Harpy Eagles, they are 2nd with 45.2. And the Leeward Island Hurricanes, they are out front with 45.4. 45.4 first, 45.2 second. That's just 200th of a point, if we remember our math. And all these top 3, they've had wins. But the issues, the extra points come from the bonus. They are 16 points for a win. So Leewards would have had 16 and 16, 32, as well as Guyana Harpy Eagles, the defending champions, and Trinidad and Tobago. However, the difference comes from the batting and bowling points. So far in this competition, Barbados, they have gained the most bonus points, 23.2, followed by Leewards with 23, Guyana with 22, and who is it? Trinidad with 21.8, and the others, Jamaica 7, Windward Island, West Indies Academy 1, so they're not getting much there. And how these points, you have bowling points for a pace bowler. If he gets a wicket, he gets 0.2 points. So therefore, if the pace bowlers get all the wickets, the 10 wickets, that means the team gets 2 bowling points for the pace bowlers. You also have batting points. Once you score between a certain number and a certain number, you get batting points. And, well, the pace bowlers getting bowling points, it is really to encourage the production of pace bowlers. Let me put it that way. Because West Indies, we have always been known to be a pace bowling country, pace bowling unit. Four-prong pace. When 2 bowlers start, it doesn't make sense to worry about rest because 2 other pace bowlers teaming pace coming back down at you. In terms of the bowling points, if you take between 5 and 6 wickets, you get 1 point. So from the time a team is whatever for 4, no points coming yet for the bowling points, for the fielding team. So between 5 and 6 wickets, 1 point. 7 and 8 wickets, you get 2 points. And if you get 9 and 10, if you basically bowl down the team, you get 3 points. In terms of the batting points, if you score between 250 and 299, you get 1 point. You score between 300 and 349, you get 2 points. You score more than 350, you get 4 points. Maybe they need to look at that and try stretch that a bit more, because Barbados made 500 and something. So in the case where Lee was made 375, they would have gotten 3 points. And when they played Jamaica, Jamaica made 335. So Jamaica would have gotten 2 points. Leewards would have gotten 3. And Trinidad and Tobago, they made, what, 455? I think it was. Yeah, 455. So maybe they need to think about, if you get between 350 and 450, you get 3 points. Anything above 450, you get 4 points. You need to encourage the batters to bat long. So those are things: bonus wickets, results, batting points, bowling points. So that is why we're getting all of these. And hey, in case you didn't realize, why some good money sharing here. The teams, the Cricket West Indies Regional 4-day competition, the teams are competing for the Headley Weeks Trophy. The winner will be getting $250,000. The runner-up will get $100,000. So only first and second, no third and fourth and fifth, and so the top batter, the most runs, will get the Sir Vivian Richards Award and also US $2,500. And then the top bowler with the most wickets overall, he'll get the Courtney Walsh Award, which is $2,500. And we haven't finished yet. The top fielder, most catches overall, the person will walk home with US $2,500 and the Clive Lloyd Award. The top all-rounder overall, Malcolm Marshall Memorial Award, will also get US $2,500. The top wicketkeeper overall, Derek Murray Award, US $2,500. Most promising fast bowler, the Andy Roberts Award, $2,500 US. And the player of the match for each game will get US $500. Now, the best this and the best that and the player of the match, I don't know if they pool it and they share it. There's a system of sharing it with the players. And I don't know if the unit, say Leewards, when it happens with Leewards, if they get, the Leewards board will get a portion of this. But I know example for the player of the match. The practice seems to be you pool it, because you can't really come the player of the match if you don't have 10 other people working with you. And you can't take the most wickets because you're not going to bowl down everybody, not going to be LBW. You need people to be catching for you, to take catches to help you to get the most wickets. And then when you're batting, you can't bat from both ends. You need somebody to bat at the other end to support you. So I subscribe to the fact of pooling all these best this, best that, and dividing it up by the players, because they are the ones, the batsmen put the score on the board for you to bowl at, to bowl out the team. So it's all a team effort, if you ask me. If we look at the points system, match points, you win the game, you get 16 points, plus whatever bowling and batting points. The game tie, scores tied at the second innings, you get 8 points plus batting and bowling points. If they lose the match, all the points you get would be batting and bowling points only, because obviously you made runs or you took wickets. For incomplete match, incomplete first innings, 2 points plus bowling points. Team win first innings lead, 8 points. If you Win first inning lead, you get 8 points. A tie game, tied second innings, no matter what happened first innings, second innings, a team got exactly, say example, 200 runs to make to win, but they only make 199. That means the complete scores, the total scores are leveled. So you get I don't. I would have done it a little different. Teams tied on first innings, 6 points plus batting points. You win first innings, you get 8 points. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Tied game. Scores tied, you also get 8. I don't know. Perhaps. Team conceding first innings. So if the match is drawn, you win first innings, you get 8 points. You lose first innings, you get 4 points, along with your batting and bowling points. So that's how the points system go. And the 4 matches that are being played, in case you missed it, Leeward Island Hurricanes in first, playing Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in third, here at Warner Park, Bastia. All the matches are starting tomorrow, Wednesday, God's Spear, and going on to Saturday. Saturday is the 15th, and this is a 10 o'clock game at Warner Park. Leeward Island Hurricanes versus Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Down in the Windsor Park, Roseau, the Windward Islands, they are in 7th position with 5.6 points. They are hosting combined campuses and colleges who are 6th with 7.2 points. So battle of the 6th and 7th, almost the bottom. That's another day match. In Barbados, Kensington Oval, Barbados Pride, they are 5th with 28.6 points. They are taking on Jamaica, who are 4th with 29.4 points. So it's a battle in the middle there. The Guyana Harpy Eagles, they are 2nd with 45.2 points. They are hosting the West Indies Academy, who are bottom of the table with 4 points, at the Guyana National Stadium in Providence. And that match starts at 1 p.m. It is a day-night match. So, a lot of cricket happening. And this is the 3rd round. Remember, there are 4 rounds. There are 7 rounds of matches. And all these going down until they're taking breaks and they're playing here and there. And just to give you an idea, these will be going down until April, the 9th of April. So a lot of cricket yet to be played. And I think, yes, there are going to be 2 more matches here at Warner Park. From Wednesday the 9th April, which is the last one, Leeward Islands and Barbados. So that should be a goodie. And then the weekend before that, Wednesday 2nd, Leeward Islands versus Guyana Harpy Eagles. Woo! Guyana Harpy Eagles. The park might be full of Guyanese and very few Kititians and Antiguans and Anguillians, etc. But the last 2 rounds of matches will be played. Leewards will be playing here in St. Kitts. They're going to be playing combined campuses in Antigua and Barbuda. Then they're going to be, the dates are out. Monday, 24th February, we have in the women's competition here, Barbados, Guyana. On Monday, 24th February, at 10 a.m. at the Connery Sports Complex. Barbados will be playing Guyana at 10 a.m. Well, all matches are 10 a.m. Jamaica will be playing Trinidad and Tobago down at Warner Park and down at St. Paul Sports Complex. Windward Islands women will be playing the Leeward Islands women. So game on Monday the 24th, then on Wednesday the 26th February at St. Paul's, Guyana versus Jamaica. At Connery Sporting Complex, Trinidad and Tobago versus Leewards. And at Warner Park, Windward Islands versus Barbados. So a lot of action here happening, and that has nothing to do with the 40 over competition that's happening here in St. Kitts with the St. Kitts Cricket Association's 40 overs. 2 weekends have gone so far, and if we take a look at the matches, the first weekend, Molyneux Keon took on Young Guns. They defeated Young Guns actually at Warner Park, and then La Poinciana versus Police. La Poinciana completely humiliated Police. They were 300 and something, 389 they were, and the Police almost get a 2-1. And then St. Paul's defeated Sandy Point, and Police came back and defeated Molyneux Keon. So that was interesting. That is interesting. I mean, cricket, you always hear the ball is round. And not because you lose a game, you could come back big time and do damage as Police has done. And I'm trying to get the games that have gone so far. I'm not doing a good job as yet. Okay, here we are. In the first round of matches, Molyneux Keon 181 for 10. Young Guns 130 for 9. Molyneux Keon, they won by 51 runs. In the second match, La Poinciana won. They made 348 for 9 from 39.5 overs. Police, they were 107 for 8 from 20.2. La Poinciana winning by 241 runs. And on Sunday last, over at Molyneux, Police made 158 all out in 34.1 overs, and Molyneux Keon made 120 for 10 in 25.3 overs. And in the park, Police won by 38 runs, and in the park, Sandy Point made 202 all out in 39.4 overs. St. Paul's 203 for 6 from 38 overs. So St. Paul's winning by 4 wickets. A few things. For the first round of matches, a few of the teams only had 10 players. But that seems not to have been the case the second round of matches. Time off from work, etc., etc. That's one. 2, teams need to bat just about all their 40 overs. You can't make ones in the pavilion. Molyneux, 181 for 10 in 39. Okay, well, maybe. But when you have Molyneux Keon, the second, 120 for 10 in 25.3 overs. And even Police, 158 for 10 in 34.5 overs. You need to use up the scores. And in terms of the points table, Young Guns, they are at the bottom with 0 points. They lost their match. Sandy Point lost the only match they play, but they are ahead because they have a little bit better run rate than Young Guns. Young Guns, their run rate is negative, minus, whatever you want to call it, 1.275. Sandy Point is negative 0.292. Police, they are in 4th position, winning 1, losing 1. They have 2 points. They are below Molyneux. Or put another way, Molyneux is above them, winning 1, losing 1 with 2 points. Because Molyneux's net run rate is 0.163, while Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, their net run rate is negative 2.537. St. Paul's Cricket Club, they've won 1, the only match they've played. They have 2 points, but they're second because their net run rate is 0.292. Whereas La Poinciana, boy, how these guys get this thing though. They are first, winning their only match. They have 2 points, but they have a gigantic net run rate, 6.025. 6.025 as a net run rate in cricket is a massive thing. Never mind when the second team behind you, their net run rate is 0. Let me put it this way. The closest net run rate is 0.163. That's interesting. And in terms of the performances, we have Kunal Tilokani. He made a 94. He almost got to his century, but he didn't get there. He's the number 1 batting. Rashid Eddy, he has 91 from 1 innings. He's number 2. Irette Richards, and he has 86 runs, an aggregate of 86 runs. He's third. DeAndre Jew, he has 2 innings of totaling 80 runs. And Mikael Louis, who is 5th, he played 1 match and he was 74, getting amongst the runs. In terms of the bowling, Sherman White, he has 5 wickets from 2 matches. Joel Mingo, 1 wicket, 4 wickets from 1 match. Jerome Thomas, 4 wickets from 2 matches. Kunal Tilokani, 4 wickets from 2 matches. And the number 5, Glenston Patrick, 3 wickets from 1 match. So some runs being made here and some wickets being taken. And who we have coming up next. And just a reminder, we're having the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association. They should be calling in at some point. And there's a match happening here, Saturday the 15th, which is Saturday coming. Young Guns versus Young Guns. Senior Young Guns versus Junior Young Guns. And this is in memory of Harlan Durant, one of their players. The match is taking place at the Connery Cricket Ground at 2 p.m. So I'm really encouraging you to go on out and support this match, support this cause, because all the funds raised would be given to the family, from my understanding, of the late Harlan Durant to help with the school fees and rents and whatever. So go on out and give generously. On Sunday the 16th, the 40 over returns. So while Leeward Islands cricket playing in the park, match is happening. Sunday the 16th, Sandy Point versus La Poinciana at Sandy Point Recreation Ground, 10 a.m. And the Young Guns will be playing St. Paul's at the St. Paul's Cricket Ground, also at 10 a.m. So a lot of things happening. And of course, Monday the 24th, the Windward Islands versus Leeward's Female, Barbados versus Guyana, Jamaica versus Trinidad. The tournament that is starting here, the West Indies Women's 50 over. And this is the 3rd straight year, 2023, 2024, and 2025. So something I really keep here in St. Kitts, something, and we're not surprised. The Kittitians are extremely good hosts. Whether it's regional teams, international teams, everybody want to come to St. Kitts. Everybody like Warner Park. Everybody like the ambience. Everybody like what is happening. And we need to go on out and we need to go out and support these matches. There are times the stands, even though the games are free, the stands don't have in anybody. We need to stop that, and we need to go on out and actually support them. But hey, stick and stay. Don't go away. We're going to go for a quick break, and we will be back shortly.
Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly talk show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Welcome back to another edition. Welcome back to another edition of On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, and it's good to be with you. And I'm seeing something on the Leeward Island Cricket Board's Facebook in terms of the squad. And this is an interesting squad for the second match. We are seeing the inclusion of Daniel Durham and Alzari Joseph. And who is out? But the squad is the 13-man squad. Rakeem Cornwall, captain Hayden Walsh, the vice captain Kadeem Henry. He's the opening batter, and I like this guy. He bowls with the right hand, he bowls with the left hand, And when I say bowl, he could bowl a full match with the left hand or a full match with the right hand. Ambidextrous. Mikael Louis, Shelton Forbes, that's the youngster out of Nevis. Carlisle spoke about him this evening. He made a half century in the first match. So he is back in. Kareem Agor, Joel Andrew, Jamal Hamilton, Jeremiah Louis, Colin Archibald, Casey Carty, Daniel Durham, and Alzari Joseph. They are back in. He is back in. So that's going to be something interesting who the final 11 will be. I don't know. And we'll just have to wait and see. O'Shane Thomas, he is out. And who else is out? O'Shane Thomas is out for Alzari Joseph. So I don't know if O'Shane is injured, but somebody had once Alzari is available, somebody had to give way for him. It's one of the tough things in the job. But Leewards, their tails are on their backs. They've won 2. They are in first, the number 1 ranked team going into this round of matches. So we will have to wait and see. Well, I know Alzari is going to be in, I shouldn't say I know. I believe Alzari is going to be in the 11. So who last game, Shelton Forbes, Daniel Durham, the only person, O'Shane, he played. So Alzari comes in for him. So chances are, if I have to make a guess, Shelton Forbes is going to be on the bench. And one of the bowlers, somebody else got to find themselves on the bench. Really, it's probably going to be either Colin, well, not probably, I suspect it's going to be Colin Archibald. Because the only other option would be Jeremiah Louis. And he picked up 3 wickets there in the last match. So it's going to be interesting. There's a concern I have, though. Joel Andrew. Well, I don't know if it's right for me to say keeper bat. He made the West Indies under 19 team as a keeper bat. He is playing for the Leewards as a bat. Are we saying that we have the confidence in him to make the West Indies under 19 team as a bat? So it doesn't make sense. He is wicket keeping. I don't know. Well, there's one question I was to ask Carlisle. How long he foresees Carlton Tuckett playing for the academy? Because I was looking at if Joel Andrew is playing as a wicketkeeper bat, Jamal Hamilton, I believe he's probably the best at the glove work in the West Indies. Century eluded him again. So I don't know how much further he has to go. I don't know how much interest West Indies would have in him still. So if Joel Andrew were to be keeping and Carlton Tuckett were to say, hey, I want to play for Leewards, and he makes himself available for Leewards, how would that work out? Would one of them be able to make the team as a batsman? Perhaps Amir Django, he's making the team as a batsman. And speaking about Django, the West Indies vice captain, Joshua De Silva, he has to come to the party. Because Tevin Imlach, he made a century and a 70-something in the last game that he would have played for Guyana. And he made his debut in Pakistan for the 2 matches. So Joshua got to make some runs to try and force his way back in. Plus, other keepers are making runs. Boucher of Barbados, if I'm not mistaken. I think he made a century. The keeper for Jamaica, I think he made a half century. So the cricket is going to be interesting. Who is going to be in and who is going to be not in. So I don't know how that is going to be going. Now, we're going to come back, since we're in St. Kitts. We were in St. Kitts with the Leewards. Let us stay here because the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association, they are starting the 2025 season Sunday coming, the 16th of February. And that's opening with the President's Cup, which is a match between the league winners and the league winners SL Hartsford's St. Paul's United. And then we'll have the Premier Division coming on after that. And the First Division and the Female League will be coming on subsequently. So football going to be starting in earnest come Sunday, God Spear. And in case persons may not remember, Spurs and South Stars, they were relegated. And then Newtown played against Mantab, and Newtown was also relegated. So the only team from Bastia in the Premier Division is Rams Village Superstars. All the others are rural teams. I don't know when. I have to investigate that. I'm not certain when last, if that ever happened before, and if so, when. So that is something we'll need to look into and see if and when that happened, etc., etc. So in terms of the Premier Division, though, and the game Sunday, that starts at 6:30 p.m. Sunday 16, 6:30 p.m. SL Hartsford St. Paul's versus the FA Cup champions, which is the Knockout Cup, Montreal Farm Cleanwright United Old Road Jets. 6 p.m. at Warner Park. And then the following Saturday, it all gets off in full swing. Saturday 22nd at 6 p.m. Tropical Blossoms Hot Springs Bath United will be taking on Mantab. Mantab was promoted to the Premier Division after defeating Newtown last season in the playoff match. And I don't believe in this playoff match at all. It's either you send down 2, bring up 2, or you send down 3, bring up 3. And it's a good revenge for Mantab. But, well, unfortunately against Newtown. Why? The year before, Mantab was 3rd and Spurs was 8th. So when they played in that relegation promotion match, Spurs won that game 4-1. And that was the only match Mantab lost for that season. They were 3rd and they didn't lose no game. And they were beaten by Spurs. This time it was sweet revenge. It so happened that it was Newtown. But I don't believe in that at all. You have all bad season of fairly bad season, and one match will determine whether they stay up or not. Nah. Yeah, they send down 3, bring up 3, send down 2, bring up 2. At 8 p.m. Saturday 22nd, Azul Keon Rockets United, they will be coming up against Montreal Farm Cleanwright United Old Road Jets at Warner Park. On Sunday the 23rd, that's of course the following Sunday, 6 p.m. Elko Limited Security Forces United, they won the First Division. They will be playing Seoul Island Otto Connery. And then at 8 p.m., Rams Village Superstars will be taking on Sandy Point. the second team to be promoted. So it's all happening here at Warner Park. And a lot of sports happening in St. Kitts. We have cricket going on right now, 40 over cricket. Well, we're going to have Leeward Islands cricket. And just now we're going to have West Indies female cricket. We have football going to be starting now. We have basketball that is happening. The St. Kitts St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, they started their junior league. And as a matter of fact, it started in Sandy Point because they are actually doing some work to the park, the Ministry of Sports. They're working with the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, and they are relaying the matins there at the park. So congratulations to the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, and of course to the Ministry of Sports for coming on board and helping them. So youth football, youth basketball is happening. And tonight in, well, junior division they call it, Sandy Point, at the Sandy Point hard court. That game started at 7 p.m. So it should be almost about finished by now if it's not. This Rams Footer, Sandy Point Falcons, they took on the Rams Hitters. And we hear about Hitters, we think about Barman Hanley. And he's been the pillar behind Hitters from in the 70s. And the youth team, they have won this championship several times. But Footer Falcons they have been doing wonders so far. So these games are being played at the new Sandy Point Recreation Ground. So we have youth basketball, we have cricket. Come next week, we're going to be having football, and somewhere in the mix, somewhere down the road, netball is going to come on stream. But what is also happening is track and field athletics. We are now going towards the height of the athletic season. We are still on the upward climb. The height is going to be around the 28 or thereabouts when we hit and we start to go back down. And Sunday last, the 9th, Sadler's Secondary School, they had their sports day at the Sadler's playing field. We haven't heard any results about that as yet. Come Thursday, the 13th, that is Thursday coming, Morris Hillier Memorial Junior School will be having their sports day. And I'm not certain if they finalized the venue as yet. Now, the biggie, one of the biggies, I should say, the Giant Malt final zonal competition. Boy, this is going to be really interesting. And if you recall, there were 4 zones before. Zonal competition for the public primary schools. You had Rural East 1, Rural East 2, Rural West, and the Bastille. And for those of you who missed it, in the East Zone 1 Public Primary School, and they were sponsored to Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I congratulate them. I congratulate sponsors. I like congratulating sponsors who come out and sponsor sports, who sponsor the arts, sponsor culture. And of course, table tennis is looking for some sponsors. We are looking for some sponsors here on the ball as well. But in this, Dean Glassford Primary School, they got 17 medals overall. And that is just for motivation and whatever. But the big thing is the gold medals, because the championships are determined by the number of gold medals you won. And if that is tied, you go down to the number of silver medals. And if that is tied, you go to the bronze. I have to find out if it's tied with the bronze, how you're going to do that. Now, Dean Glassford, they got 4 golds, 6 silver, and 7 bronze. They were 4th. Violet Petty, they got 11 medals overall, 5 gold, 3 silvers, and 3 bronze. Joshua Obadiah Primary School, they got 14 medals. They were tied on 5 gold medals with Violet Petty Primary School, and Violet Dean Glassford is out of St. Peter's. Violet Petty is out of Lodge. Joshua Obadiah Williams, they're out of Molyneux. So it went down to the silver medals. Joshua Obadiah Williams had 4. Violet Petty Primary School, they had 3. So Joshua Obadiah Williams was second. Keon Primary School, they had a matter of 42 medals overall. They really took advantage of everybody here. And there were 15 gold medals, 15 silvers, 13 bronze. And they won that championship. In the East Zone 2, 4 schools again. Dietbe Primary School, they got 22 medals, 3 gold, 6 silvers, 13 bronze. Edgar T. Morris, that's out of Tabernacle. They got 18 medals overall, 3 gold, 7 silvers, and 8 bronze. And again, the silver medal here determining who would have been 4th or 5th. Dietbe got 6 gold medals. Dietbe got 3 gold medals, same as Edgar T. Morris. However, they had only had 6 silver medals, while Edgar T. Morris had 7. So Edgar T. Morris would have been 3rd. Sadler's Primary School, they had 17 medals overall, 5 gold, 7 silvers, and 5 bronze. St. Paul's Primary School, they really took advantage of everybody here, more than a runaway. They had a total of 57 medals overall, and 27 gold medals. 5 and 3, 8 and 3, 11. So all the other 3 schools, they had a total of 11 gold medals. So St. Paul's got 27, which is 2 times, or more than 2 times the amount that the others won. 8 silver medals, 22 bronze medals. We go down to the West Zone. That's Sandy Point. Bonty Welch Primary School, they had 21 medals. Bonty Welch, they are out of the boys region. 6 gold medals, 8 silvers, 7 bronze. Newton Ground Primary School, they had 16, 7 gold, 4 silvers, 5 bronze. Tyrrell Williams out of Virchilds, they had a matter of 33 medals overall. 10 silvers, 10 gold, 16 silvers, 7 bronze. There was a lot of expectation that Tyrrell Williams may have won. Going into the competition, may have won that. That was obviously not to be. But they started off with a bang. Tyrrell Williams, I think, won the first 3 races, and then Sandy Point, and then Newton Ground, and Tyrrell Williams again, and then Bonty Welch. So at the end of the day, it was a straight fight between Tyrrell Williams Primary and Sandy Point Primary, and Sandy Point Primary retained the championships with a matter of 44 medals overall. 15 gold medals, 10 silvers, 19 bronze. So they were able to take care of business against Tyrrell Williams by 5 medals. And in the Bastille Zone, the Holiday Smith Primary School, they got a total of 20 medals overall. 5 gold, 8 silvers, and 7 bronze. The Tucker Clark Primary School out of Newtown, there were 26 medals overall. 6 gold medals, 9 silvers, 11 bronze. The Beach Allen Primary School, they had a total of 32 medals overall. 15 gold, 12 silvers, 5 bronze. And running away with the championship, I say running away with it was more creeping away. The Dr. William Connor Primary School, repeating how many years now? And they got a matter of 48 medals overall. Only edging out Beach Allen by 1 medal. 1 gold medal. They got 16. Beach Allen got 15. Dr. William Connor got 13 silvers and 19 bronze. So what is going to be happening here? These 4 schools are going to be going up against each other in the Giant Malt Zonal Championships, Saturday, 15th February at the new Sandy Point Recreation Ground in SP where the best be, or Hub City, Hub. And I suspect it's going to start about 12:30. I'm not seeing the time here, but I suspect it's going to start about 12:30. And who is going to walk away with it? You're going to have Keon Primary, you're going to have St. Paul's Primary, Sandy Point Primary, and Dr. William Connor Primary School. And I think they're only doing the track events. They're not doing field events. Perhaps they need to think about that to help the youngsters to develop more. I am wondering if something cannot be done a little better with these competitions. And I'm doing the research on it. Some schools, well, the population of some schools, there are some schools like Newton Ground, where one class is a grade and one grade is a class. So, for example, kindergarten, you only have one class with 10, 15, 20 students, however. Grade 1, one class. 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 students, whatever. And that goes all the way up to grade 6. So schools like those might have maybe 100 children, a little under 100, 70 something, 80 something, I don't know. And if we look at Sandy Point, for example, Sandy Point with a rule, at one point Sandy Point had a rule of 400 and something. I think they're down to 300 and something at the moment. But Sandy Point kindergarten, they have kindergarten 1, 2, and 3. So we're talking about 40, 50 students, maybe 60 in kindergarten. Grade 1, similar thing, 1, 2, 3, grade 1, 1, grade 1, 2, grade 1, 3. And each of them got in between 15 and 20 students. So we're talking between 45 and 60 students. And that goes all the way up to grade 6. So how really could a school with 100 students meaningfully compete with a school of 300 plus students? Where you're going to have the Newton Ground primary schools and the, I don't know, the primary school maybe, and Bronte Welsh, where they might have one student who have to do 5 and 6 and 7, 8 races. The bigger populated schools, the Sandy Point Primary, Dr. William Connor Primary, I suspect, Beach Allen Primary, maybe Tucker Clark Primary, they might be able to have one athlete just doing 2 events because of the numbers. So I am suggesting that this school, primary schools meets and the zonal meets be restructured. 3 zones or maybe even 4 zones. And they're having 4 zones now. So it's just a little bit of logistics rather than having big school against small school. You tear them off. Schools 100 students or less, that is zone whatever, zone A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Schools between 100 and, I don't know, 200 students, you have them in zone 2. School between 200 and 250 to 70, I don't know, you have zone 3. And then zone 4 would be the schools with more than 275 students. I think that it will lend itself a little more to better quality, and the students in the smaller schools, it's like you're not playing primary school. A similar thing would be putting primary school players to play against, I don't know, players in CFBC. It could be an advantage just in my humble view. But that's just my suggestion, to tier the zones according to populations of schools. And I've been in some discussion, and I note that, for example, East Zone 2 public primary schools, DFB St. Paul's, Edgar T. Morris, and Sadler's, they didn't have any sports day before the zonal. Edgar T. Morris Sports Day, Saturday 22nd. St. Paul's Primary is DFB Primary, Saturday, March 1st. St. Paul's Primary, Saturday, March 3rd. And who was the other one? DFB St. Paul's, Edgar T. Morris, Sadler's. Sadler's Primary School, Friday the 7th. So I'm wondering how good a model it would be, or if it may not be better, where all the schools were allowed to have their their private sports day. And after they have these different sports days, then you have the zonals. So that means the zonals would drop just before the Rams primary. And I believe that would, I'm thinking that might give these schools a better chance to have their athletes. Because when you look at the St. Paul's, Edgar T. Murray's, Sandy Point Primary, and St. Paul's Primary, Sadler's Primary, sorry, I believe they had to do guesswork in some instances. Who we going to use that? Oh, remember last year he won this race, that one did this race, so let's use them again. But they may be out of form. Somebody else may have been coming a little quicker. And I think at the end of the day, what it does, having the schools with the individual sports the first, and then having the zonals second, and then having the zonal final third, and then having the Rams Primary School Championships fourth, last, that may very well yield a better competition for Rams. And the Rams Primary School Championships, that is going to be held on the 18th of March at Kim Collins. So it's just something that I am wondering if it could be given some thought. And I remember a few years ago when I was the president of I think the Sandy Point Primary School or the Sandy Point PTA, I made the suggestion to two suggestions actually. One, to encourage students to go and attempt events, long jump, steeplechase, whatever. You give every student 1 point for attempting. Because some students not going to go because then they ain't going to make it and they ain't going to give the house a point. But that's it. You want all the students to try and give the houses a point. So you give 1 point to all the students for attempting an event. 2, those who complete the event, you give them an extra point. So that's 2 points. I line up and steeplechase. I go after 10 meters, 5 meters, I stop, I can't do that. I get a point. But if I run, even if I come last and I run, I give my house 2 points. Similar with long jump heat. I jump. I make the first jump, I get a point. I go through with all 3 jumps. The foul I make standard, I get 2 points. So I'm proud I'm giving my house a point. And I believe that will motivate the children. I believe that will help them to participate more, and they'll feel a part of the system. But we're going to take a final break, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be right back. Time is flying. It's now 14:02. It looks like we're not going to be seeing our guests, and that's okay. We could work on that, and we're going to take a break. Stick and stay. Don't go away, and we will be right back in a moment or two.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Welcome back to On the Ball here at WinFM 98.9. And this is basically the last leg. Time has fly. Boy, when you're having fun, old people, somebody say when you're having fun, time flies. And that is really the case. That is definitely the case. And before we slip away, just a reminder for you to go on out and support the various sports days that happening about. Tomorrow the 11th, That's Wednesday, the 11th, Charlestown Secondary School. They're having their sports there at the Nevis Athletic Stadium at 1 p.m. The 13th, Thursday 13th, Gingerland Secondary, they're going to be having theirs at the same venue at 1 p.m. So tomorrow, 12 February, Charlestown Secondary Sports Day at the Mondo Track. Thursday 13th, Gingerland Secondary at the Mondo Track. In terms of track and field here in St. Kitts, Thursday the 13th, Morris Hillier Primary School. Saturday the 15th, Giant Malt Final Zonal, that's at Sandy Point New Recreation Ground. Sunday the 16th, Sunday coming. Hey, we're having two biggies here. Charles E. Mills Secondary School. They are the double 8-time champions. They were 8-time back-to-back 8 times a few years ago, and they're now the defending back-to-back champions. They've won it for the last 8 years. So they're going for 9 now. They're having their sports day Sunday 16th, Sunday coming, at the New Sandy Point Recreation Ground. And Bastia High School, they're also having theirs, the birthplace of champions. So we have the Sems Eagles, Sunday 16th, Sandy Point New Recreation Ground. Bastia High School, birthplace of champions, Sunday 16th February, also at the Newtown playing field. So go on out and support them. And that's for track and field. In terms of cricket, remember, we're having the Regional 4-day, Leeward Islands versus Trinidad and Tobago, starting tomorrow. It's a 4-day. So we're talking the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Warner Park. And Leeward's in first place, Trinidad and Tobago in third place. That is starting at 10 a.m. So go on out and lend your support to the Leeward Islands. And they're going to need it because they're trying to actually win this thing. And next week, Saturday, Young Guns, the 15th, Saturday 15th, Young Guns, they're going to be having this memorial match for the late Harlan Durant. May his soul rest in peace. Young Guns Senior versus Young Guns Junior. And the winners, the revenue they make, whatever they collect from bar sales from the gates, will be given to the Durant family to assist with their expenses. A beautiful idea. I love it. And I won't be able to be there, unfortunately, because the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, we are holding our national championships down at St. Paul's Community Center, starting on 9 o'clock both days. 9 o'clock Saturday, 9 o'clock Saturday. And we've named the championship the Laverne Merit National Table Tennis Championship. Laverne, the late Laverne, may her soul rest in peace. She was a former president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. She was a former vice president of the Caribbean Region Table Tennis Federation. Compared to football, that is like CONCACAF. So she was a vice president at that level. And a very beautiful woman, very hard working. And once she set her mind to do something, she wanted it done. So we're going to be naming that championship after her. And that is going to be something, we got permission from the family already to do that, and that is something that's going to happen every year for that championship. So it's all happening table tennis. We have 4 categories. We have the veteran categories, 55 and over, male and females. We have the senior categories, which is 18 and over, except you can't play veterans and if you're not 18. If you are, you can play senior and veterans. We're having the junior category, which is 12 to 17, and we have in the youth category under 12. So primary schools, high schools, table tennis, male, females. We're going to be having singles male, singles female, doubles males, doubles females, and the mixed doubles. That is a man and a woman, boy, and a girl. So come on out, watch some table tennis. I didn't mention a lot of sports. I didn't slip in the table tennis. So we have table tennis, we have track and field, we have basketball, we have cricket. Football going to be coming on stream weekend. And then we also have the junior basketball happening at the Sandy Point Sporting Complex. Basically Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from about 7. There are 2 games most nights. So go on out and support them. You've been listening to On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9, and it has been my pleasure to be here with you. And the time really flies. I thank my guest, Mr. Carlisle Powell, who was on with us a little earlier. We were to have two other guests. One guest, we had some technical difficulties contacting him, and he was time sensitive. He had to be in a meeting. He could have given us a few minutes, but we're expecting that he's going to be here with us, perhaps live in studio next week, God's spare. If he's not, he'll be able to call in. And we thank you for being with us. We're going to be coming again next week, Tuesday, God's spare, from 7 to 9. We're celebrating birthday today. Happy birthday. We're celebrating birthday between now and next week, Monday. Happy birthday in advance. And if you celebrated between now and last week, happy belated birthday, happy belated anniversary, happy anniversary in advance. And those persons who are deceased, bereaved, they're going through some bereavement. We ask you to be strong and find comfort and strength in the many positive moments that you would have experienced and that you will forever cherish. To the drivers, be careful on the road. We've had a lot of deaths last year and early this year, and the government has put some stiffer penalties, but they won't affect you if you stick to the laws. Once you do the right thing, they won't affect you. Drivers, be patient on the road, please, because if you're not patient, you may end up becoming a patient, and it may be more than that, or a little worse than that. So, as I slip away, thank you for joining, thank you for listening. Always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Thank you for listening.